Okay, so I'm here in Francis King Park with John, who leads forest bathing tours, and this is John, and I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your background and how that influences the way you lead forest tours, because you're a counselor, and also I know that you've been on a long path of spiritual development as well. And so when I took the tour with you, I could really see how you'd been influenced by shamanism, for example, as well. Mm-hmm. So how all of those things come into the way you lead a forest bathing tour.
I guess, I grew up in nature. I grew up on 50 acres of forest, and it was surrounded by crown lands, like thousands of acres. So as a kid, nature was my friend. I was a bit of a nerdy kid growing up. I had deaf parents, so I didn't have an appreciation of culture, which kind of like ostracized me from my peers. Long story short, it was a challenging childhood for me, like it is for many people. And I would retreat into nature. Nature was my sanctuary. Nature was my therapist. I just somehow intuitively felt that presence, and I would say that would be the beginning of my spirituality. I guess from there, I kind of discovered an organization called the Rosicrucian Order, which is a study of spirituality, mysticism, science, and the arts, is I guess how they describe it, where I kind of went into a more of a formal study of spirituality and mysticism. And then I kind of got caught up with life, a career, a business, going to school. I did my bachelor's in psychology at Dalhousie in Halifax, and then I moved out here in BC in 1988, did my master's in counseling psych, and then kind of started working as a therapist and in an urban setting. And to be honest with you, I kind of disconnected from nature. I kind of went through my own nature deficit disorder kind of phase of my life. Just focused on career, relationships, building friendships, these sorts of things, which was an important phase of my life. And then about 3 years ago, I had, the universe has an interesting way of getting us back to, the things that really matter. And a lot of the things that define me, career, relationships, were kind of pulled out from under me. So once again, I found myself retreating back into nature and just reconnecting with it. This time, though, in a much more focused, mindful, kind of a much more awareness kind of approach to it. Doing things a little differently now, taking people into nature and facilitating a relationship between them and nature so that nature becomes their therapist, nature becomes their ally.
Okay, so when I first came forest bathing with you, one of the things that really stood out to me was the way that we entered the experience, like walking through a doorway, and it was the threshold experience to me. And so I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about entering the forest.
Absolutely. I guess I like to look at it as if you're about to go to a really, really good friend's place for like you've been invited for dinner. And it's someone that you really care about, and they care about you. So as you're walking into their home, you kind of show up at the door, and you're having this feeling of gratitude and acknowledgement. I think we tend to look at nature as a resource, and we just go in and we take. So if you can imagine walking into a friend's place and just pushing past them and helping yourself to the refrigerator, that's not very respectful. I introduce the idea that nature is also observing us. When we walk into a forest, there's a consciousness, there's a presence there. And like people, if we respond with kindness and positivity towards them, they will respond accordingly.
Hello, forest. Is now a good time? Are you up for a respectful visitor? Hello, forest. May I come in if I promise to slow down my breathing? I know you're hurting, and so am I. May I share my burdens and promise to hear yours, the way trusted friends listen to each other? It has taken too long, but I'm beginning to understand that we are both extremely sensitive and empathetic. So when I come to your door, I won't barge right in, but pause and reflect on how I enter. Hello, it is Friday afternoon here, and I've just finished a forest bathing tour here at Francis King Park. And I've come back in to tell you a bit about my experience. It was led by John. It was an absolutely fabulous, beautiful, incredible experience with amazing people on the tour with me as well, which really made for an even better experience. But basically, we spent 2.5 hours mindfully in the forest, interacting with the forest with all of our senses, different ones at different times. Sometimes we would really tune into our sense of touch, sometimes our sense of sound. We would really listen for the sounds of the forest. Sometimes we would really look, and we even tasted some things in the forest. We moved really slowly through the forest, almost like a walking meditation, just noticing our pace. So you know when you come in the forest and it actually does smell good and it feels so good? That smell is actually healing. And in the summer when it gets warmer, the forest puts out more of its healing smells. It releases more of its oils, its essential oils. So this is some cedar tree. Okay. We heard lots of birds today. I heard the ravens call, which is my favorite. I saw a pileated, I believe, woodpecker, the big tall ones with the red head, and it was going up and down a tree and tapping on the tree. That's why I heard it at first. And tons of bird calls and songbirds, really, really beautiful. And you're just so much more attuned to it when you come in here and you're practicing the forest bathing, because usually when I come into the forest, I'm focusing on, I'm talking to Tim, to be honest. So it was really nice to have the time where the focus was actually on relating to the forest. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So all I can say is that look it up in your area. If there's somebody running forest bathing tours, to definitely go and do it with them, because it's really awesome. I'm definitely going to do it again with John. Actually, we're going to go out because we're going to film a little something for him. And I wanted to thank Yvonne, because she's a student. She's she's a member, and she does yoga with Melissa classes, and she was here visiting. She was house sitting in Victoria. And you hear that? It was because of her that I learned about it in the first place. I think all the most talented people in the world are in Victoria. And so it's great to I don't even know what that bird is. No idea. It's great to be connected with them here and to have access to so many incredible resources and talented people. And I just wanted to thank Yvonne for hooking me up with John. And we'll be coming out again. And Francis King Park is a beautiful park. So if you watched all the way to the end of this vlog and you enjoyed, and if you've ever been forest bathing, let me know, and let me know about your experience. But if you watched all the way to the end, why don't you put I love to hear the call of the raven in the comments. Thanks for watching and for giving the vlog a thumbs up and for sharing with your friends and family. And I will see you next week. Bye.